All right, so let's talk about a Bitcoin price prediction. Look, it is Bitcoin news. What is going on? What we're seeing every single day. We got Bitcoin right now at 107,000. That's really not the main lead here. I want to talk to you about a Bitcoin price prediction, where we're going to see Bitcoin go the remainder of June, July, and then really though, we're talking about what's going to happen from a Bitcoin price prediction as we see Bitcoin roll into the last 4 to 5 months of the year. That's where the real excitement is going to kick in and just again be absolutely insane and amazing. So we're going to talk about that. If that's of interest to you, stay with me to the entire video. I've got something else to show you here in just a few minutes that's going to help you if you're interested in make even more money in crypto as well as stocks. So you're going to be like that as well. So let's jump into this. So right now we've got Bitcoin running at 107,230, 290, up 2.4% on the 7-day, and on the 1-day we're up about 1%. Overall, though, not a lot of liquidity in the market. We have come back from a market capitalization, adding about $250 billion back into the market cap for the entire crypto market in the last 36 to 48 hours. Of interest here is Bitcoin dominance. It is inching up, guys, 64.9, basically 65% Bitcoin dominance continues to roll up. I know this is a Bitcoin video, but most of us own other coins, other tokens, and I definitely would not consider myself to be a Bitcoin maxi. I own them all. I own Bitcoin, I own XRP, Ethereum, all of them for different reasons, right? Different utility, things of that nature. We need the liquidity, the capital to start flowing even more so into Bitcoin to rise, to make its price go up, but also we need liquidity and capital to flow into the other altcoins as well, which ultimately will happen. And I expect Bitcoin dominance will start to fall off here as we get into a little bit later in the year, as some of that money is starting to be dispersed into the other assets, Ethereum, XRP, things of that nature. But anyway, back to kind of the lead story here. And what are we thinking from a Bitcoin price prediction? Well, if you take a look at Bitcoin, where it's at right now, we have been, you can see it, just a real quick series of lines here, not perfectly placed, but enough to get the point. Bitcoin really has been consolidating. In fact, I would say really kind of going back to here to there. So Bitcoin started consolidating back around in the first week of May or so. You can see after we had this leg up. Now, we had a nice run up from here all the way to here, where we saw Bitcoin go up about 32% in about 45 days. But overall, we've got this consolidation playing out from so the first week of May into kind of where we're at now. So not an extremely long period of time from a consolidation standpoint, but we really need, like I said, that liquidity to kind of come into play and start seeing some more capital flow into the market. You can see that Bitcoin just kind of started trading in this very tight range where it's been bouncing off of, approximately that $102,000 mark, and then all the way up to that 110. Now, again, we did reach our all-time high back around the end of the last week of May, which won 111,000 and change. And, we're really only about $4,000 away from that all-time high. And that could be a factor. We could, we're starting to see right here, and you can see Bitcoin starting to move back up. So we've got that resistance, that support at that low $102,000 range. And we continue to trade within that tighter pattern since that first week of May, that 102,000 support, trading up to that 109, kind of 110 area. Again, we've got that all-time high set back in the last week of May. So if we're talking about kind of a Bitcoin price prediction and where does it go here, and what are we thinking from a Bitcoin news standpoint? Well, look, let's talk about the things that are at play. In fact, I want to show you one. This is one that we haven't talked about for a while. And this one is right here, where we've got the Bitcoin strategic reserve race, but I'm really talking about at the state level. So there's a north of, I believe, 30 plus United States that are in the process of enacting big strategic Bitcoin reserve bills. And you can see Arizona, New Hampshire, and Texas are the ones that have enacted that. And so what is the impact here going to be on Bitcoin? I think as we see more of these states come online, and they actually start to buy Bitcoin, they start to release the fact that they are now actually buying the asset, and it's becoming part of, again, a respective, like, for example, Texas strategic Bitcoin reserve. You're going to see more excitement build. And remember, we still have the federal level Bitcoin strategic reserve. We don't really know how that's going to play out. We know that the U.S. government owns a lot of Bitcoin that was seized from previous, nefarious operations, things of that nature. We've talked about that in other videos, but I really wanted to highlight the state-based strategic reserves and how that is something that is out there. Beyond that, you have this situation where I think the tides are turning. Like, again, the Visa CEO was on CNBC talking about, quote, "We are bullish on crypto and stable coins." 7 years ago, I love this one, CNBC declared Bitcoin dead. Bitcoin at the price was at $6,000. How many of us could go back in time and wish, hey, we would bought Bitcoin at $6,000? That would be a nice have if we could, right? Robinhood CEO said, quote, "Bitcoin and crypto will replace traditional revenue," and so forth and so on. And I think therein lies kind of the theme I wanted to kind of get at from the standpoint of Bitcoin and a Bitcoin price prediction, but more importantly, highlighting the fact of Bitcoin adoption, crypto adoption, we still don't have Main Street adoption of investing in the asset. Yes, we have Bitcoin ETFs, highly, highly, highly successful. Every day there's inflows, things of that nature. There, of course, are outflows on those given down days. But overall, the asset class has been one of the most successful new introduction of an investment vehicle, the Bitcoin ETFs from BlackRock and so forth. And so I think that heralds a changing, and ultimately there will be a new class of investors coming online. But the bottom line is a lot of those investors right here, this moment, are on the sidelines. We have hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of capital liquidity that is parked in stable coins and waiting to see kind of what happens, waiting to see what happens with Iran and Israel, waiting to see what happens on other massive and major financial fronts. What's the Federal Reserve going to do? What are the interest rates going to play out? Are we going to get another interest rate or two reduction in the remainder of this year? Are we going to see inflation rise or fall associated with tariffs? What's going to be the final end game that we get to with tariffs? Where are we going to end up? So all of these different factors are at play right now, I think, keeping the price of Bitcoin in this consolidation range that we touched on earlier. Okay, so where does that leave us? It leaves us now with a discussion around, if you look at historic facts, I think from a Bitcoin price prediction, we will see Bitcoin start to rise, start to move up dramatically when we start to get into the August timeframe. It'll start gradually inching up for a parabolic run into the worst case $130,000 range, all the way up to a potential of $200,000 by the end of 2025. So there is your Bitcoin price prediction. There's the Bitcoin news that I've been talking to you about. It is a factor of seeing all that play out, but we have to get through a lot of these turbulent waters that I just mentioned earlier, right? And so those are the key things that I'm looking at and keeping an eye on. And we got to get through June and July. June, historically, one of the worst months. If you go back and look at the last 5, 6, 7 years, outside of 2021, June has been a really not great month. July does a little bit better as we're starting to kind of get out of summer and roll into those fall, and then obviously, late into the fourth quarter time period. So it leaves us at this place where June, July, get through it, move more into that, and see those, Bitcoin dramatically going up, see mass adoption, see liquidity, capital flowing back into Bitcoins, flowing back into the other major assets, rolling into the fourth quarter. Okay, so I promised you that I would share with you how you can make even more money with crypto, with stocks. Here's what I wanted to share with you. I have a trading indicator called X1 Algo. Links in the description below, right down there. I'm offering it at the best discounted price right here, right now. There's a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. And here's the software at work. You can see right here for Bitcoin itself, a buy alert all the way up to that sell alert in 48 days, 30%. So the software said, buy here, sell here. Software runs on an iPhone, runs on Android, runs on a computer, runs anywhere. The alerts come in on anywhere you want. They're literally little pop-ups that'll come in on your phone. It said, buy Bitcoin here, sell Bitcoin here, what have you. You want to see another example? This is SEI. SEI's made a recent run. This is a buy alert. And then one day, see how it gave that buy alert way before and started running up 56%. Okay. So that's the software working for you, kind of showing you how it works with crypto. I told you stocks. See, this is Tesla. This is the Tesla chart right here. There's a buy alert to a sell alert. You can see it. So buy to a sell, 67 days, 85% up. All right. Sell. Don't take a 45+% loss, and so forth and so on. So that's how the software works. Buy here, sell here. It tells you where to do. Why? What's the point? To know when to buy, know when to sell, to put that profit in your bank account. Okay. Know when to buy, know when to sell. That's the key, right? We're all here trying to make crypto profits, stock profits. So with the software X1, you get a 2-for-1. You can use it for stocks, you can use it for crypto, and the software runs anywhere that you want to run it, and it works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Obviously, the stock market doesn't trade 24/7, but crypto does. Links right down there. Give it a look. That discount code will make the software literally cost about $1.15 per day. That's what it costs. So, give it a look. And you got that 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee that's highlighted right there at the bottom of the screen by my picture. So you have really 30 days to try it. All right, go make some money. See you.